The 1960s created two completely different worlds of speed. In America, muscle cars roared through streets with brute force and attitude. In Europe, elegance ruled, flowing lines, precision engineering, and quiet confidence. The Mustang, Camaro, and Charger fought for dominance with raw horsepower. The Jaguar E-Type and Mercedes 300 SL chased perfection through design and sophistication. But which philosophy shaped the decade? Which cars left the deeper legacy, muscle or elegance? This isn't just a comparison, it's a clash of eras, cultures, and engineering philosophies. Welcome to the ultimate 60s showdown. Power versus perfection. Muscle versus elegance. The rise of American muscle. America in the 1960s was loud, bold, and hungry for speed. Gas was cheap, highways were growing, and a new generation wanted cars that felt rebellious. Then came the Mustang. Light, affordable, and instantly iconic. It wasn't just transportation, it was identity. With its long hood and aggressive stance, the Mustang became the poster child for American youth. It didn't whisper, it shouted. Hot on its heels arrived the Chevrolet Camaro. It was GM's answer to the Mustang, a rival created for war, sleek, powerful, and ready to dominate the drag strip. The Camaro didn't try to be polite, it came out swinging. And then, the Dodge Charger. Bigger, meaner, and unapologetically wild. Its presence alone felt dangerous. With massive V8 power and muscular lines carved into steel, the Charger became the heavyweight champion of American streets. American muscle wasn't about precision. It wasn't about refinement. It was about attitude. Pure, unfiltered mechanical thunder. Cars that made your heart beat faster before the engine even started. But across the ocean, a very different philosophy was taking shape. One focused not on brute strength, but on beauty, balance, and engineering perfection. Europe answers with elegance. While America chased power, Europe chased purity. Leading the charge was the Jaguar E-Type, a car so beautiful that even rival engineers admired it in silence. Long, sensual lines, a stance that flowed like sculpture, and performance that left critics stunned. It wasn't just fast, it was graceful. Every curve had purpose. Every detail felt artistic. Then, there was the Mercedes 300 SL. With its dramatic gullowing doors and race-bred engineering, it seemed to belong to a future the rest of the world hadn't reached yet. Lightweight, aerodynamic, and technologically far ahead of its time, the 300 SL proved that elegance could also be deadly fast. European classics didn't rely on brute force to make their statement. They relied on precision. Where American cars used cubic inches, Europe used craft. Where muscle cars demanded respect with noise, European icons commanded attention with silence. But beauty wasn't their only strength. These cars represented their cultures. Europe valued refinement, balance, engineering discipline. And now, two philosophies were on a collision course, one built on raw instinct, the other on meticulous artistry. Which one defined the decade? Which one shaped the future? The showdown. Power versus perfection. The Mustang, Camaro, and Charger dominated American streets. They were loud, proud, and built for thrill seekers who wanted every stoplight to feel like a starting line. Their engines roared in a way that stirred something primal. But the E-Type and 300 SL delivered a different kind of excitement. They weren't about intimidation. They were about seduction. Their power was refined. Their speed felt effortless. They didn't need to shout. Their presence alone left an impact. So which ruled the 60s? Muscle cars ruled pop culture. Movies, magazines, and the growing youth movement embraced their rebellious spirit. They represented freedom and individuality. European icons, meanwhile, ruled design and engineering. Automakers worldwide studied their proportions, their balance, and their innovation. They reshaped what a sports car could be. The truth? The decade didn't belong to one side. The 60s became legendary because both worlds existed at the same time. Brute power on one side, timeless elegance on the other. A perfect contrast that defined an era and still divides enthusiasts today. Legacy and reflection. The Mustang, Camaro, and Charger showed the world that passion could be loud. The E-Type and 300 SL proved that beauty could be fast. Together, they created one of the greatest decades in automotive history. Muscle cars brought excitement to the masses. European icons elevated cars into art. Different philosophies, different cultures, but the same undeniable impact. And more than 60 years later, these legends still inspire every new generation of drivers, designers, and dreamers. Because the 60s weren't defined by choosing power or elegance, but by celebrating both.